So today's video is going to have a little different vibe than usual. Welcome back to my channel. I don't know why I skipped the intro. So today I'm going to be informing you guys on something that a lot of you may not know, but most of you probably will because usually only family and friends watches my video anyway. You may or may not know, but I am blind in my right eye. I was born with it because people always think that I was like shot with an airsoft gun or like, I don't know, something dramatic happened, but I was just born with it. But I was born with something called microphthalmia. Micro meaning small, and then I think ophthalmia means eyeball. So I can't see out of my right eye whatsoever. I only have vision out of my left eye, and today I'm going to be explaining everything, and I'm interviewing a lot of people who've known me my whole life, and yeah. Okay, this is Mom. Say hi. She's gonna answer questions. So, when I was born, when did they start realizing that something was odd about the eyeball?
Well, they do a test on babies, and one of the tests they do is to make sure that they get a red eye reflex, so they shine a light in your eye. Anyways, you passed that test, which meant you had vision in both eyes, which meant somebody messed up because you didn't have vision in both eyes. So the doctors and nurses actually didn't notice. You were born and we had you just a couple hours old in the room, and I noticed that your left eye was wide open and your right eye was always closed, like you were winking all the time. And I said something to the nurse and she's like, oh, well, she just probably bruised her eye on your pelvis when she came out. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense because you were born C-section, so you didn't go through that way. So the nurse kind of dismissed me. And then when the doctor came to check you, I think it was actually the next day, I said, like, please look in her eye. Like, she's not opening it, something's wrong. And so he opened your eye. And that's when we saw, like, okay.
It's completely white, right?
There's a speck of blue, but yeah, it looked blind, like it looked cloudy. So he said, when you leave the hospital, we want you to make an appointment with an eye doctor that specializes in kids, and they'll be able to let you know what's going on because they didn't know what was going on. But of course, we're on Google trying to figure it out. So we actually we found a doctor to go to. I think it was the day after we got home from the hospital. So you were like 4 days old, and we went to him, and he was a complete jerk. He spent 5 minutes with us, and then he said, I have no more time for your questions. And of course, I had written down like a big long list of questions. And he said that you would just have a glass eye and that you wouldn't ever have any vision. And he made this noise. He goes, well, you just pop it out, it'll be fine. And here I am with my newborn baby. Like, I left that doctor's office and I just collapsed. Like, I was so distraught, and he was such a jerk. Then we found a specialist in San Diego, and we were like booking flights to San Diego, and like the whole family was researching and trying to find a good doctor. And then I think it might have been Kara or somebody in the family found Dr. Epley, and then somebody had a connection with them, so like usually you'd have to wait several months to see him. And so we were able to get in like a few days later. Dr. Epley spent like 2.5 hours with us. Oh, he was just such a good doctor. And they did the ultrasound on your eye right there. And he said she has all the components she needs to get vision, and I think we should try to give her some vision. And so at 2 weeks old, baby Morgan had a corneal transplant. And at first I thought that I could give you my cornea. Like, oh, just take my cornea and give it to my child. But apparently you need those to see. And so your cornea was donated by a 7-year-old boy that had died, and their parents chose to be organ donors. And so that's how you got the cornea. But unfortunately, your body did reject that. So your eye was white and cloudy with a little speck of blue. And then when they did that corneal transplant, they took out all the cloudiness and your eye was blue. Did you know that?
No.
And then, so it was much clearer after the surgery, but then your body rejected it, and so your tissue grew back over it, and then it turned white again.
Trigger warning for this part. Please skip this if you get triggered by touching my eye or my eye looking creepy or any of that. Please skip this part. I got a new eyeball. Let me show you. So it matches my color a little more. This little thing is to help me know what side to put it on, because this part goes in the top. This is the new eyeball. This is supposed to be a toilet because I thought it would be really funny if I had a toilet on my eyeball, but clearly it didn't really work out. They literally used thread for the veins, which is really cool. I'm gonna show you me putting it in. These are my eyes, my natural eyes, but I'm just gonna put it at the top and then bring my eyelid down And then I'm gonna squeeze this thing to take it off, except sometimes when I squeeze it, I'll squeeze my eyelash with it and it hurts really bad. I usually rub it to make sure it's like in place. Also the other one, when I moved around like this, the eyeball was a little faster when I looked right and left and up and down and all around. This one's kind of slow at tracking, but I don't know if it's gonna like set in or like look better later. I don't know. Some people ask me how it feels when I put it in and out. It's very uncomfortable. I used to cry every time and they would have to hold me down and like she would have to like be like, I promise we'll get an ice cream after this, or like she'd have to bribe me in order to do it. Now it's a lot better, especially because I do it to myself now. And it still kind of feels the same, really uncomfortable and really just weird, like when you touch your own eye, like it literally just feels like that. Well, can you explain like what they did in the surgery? Like,
they took off your cornea.
where is the cornea, like at the top, or did they have to like shave inside the eyeball?
I think the cornea is the outer layer. They took out your cornea and then they put in that 7-year-old cornea and stitched it onto your eye.
And it didn't work.
And it didn't work, but I wrote a letter to the mom of the 7-year-old and said thank you so much. Like, I can't imagine, like, she lost her child, right, at 7 years old. And I just said thank you so much for giving my daughter a chance at vision.
Well, are you glad you did the surgery to just make sure that I couldn't see?
Oh, definitely. We had to do everything we could try to get you vision. Like,
do you think if there's like a different cornea or like they did something else, do you think it was possible that I could have seen, or do you think it was like last hope or whatever?
I think they're coming up with advancements every day, right, in the medical field, and maybe at some point you could have a prosthetic eye that would give you vision.
No, creepy. Ugh, I don't want surgeries. Ugh.
Okay, creepy. The hardest part was after the corneal transplant when you were 2 weeks old. They said, okay, now for her to have a chance at vision, you're gonna have to patch her good eye so that it makes her weak eye work really hard so you can try to get vision. And so we had to put the patch on your left eye and you would scream and cry. I was supposed to do it like 6 hours a day. I think I did it like 2 because you would scream and cry the whole time because you couldn't see anything.
Because they didn't know if it worked. They couldn't be sure if it worked or not because I was a baby. I couldn't just be like, it worked, Mom!
And sometimes I'd come in the room and you'd taken it off.
And didn't they do that for like a year? Like,
yeah, so we found out when you were 1 years old, that's when we took you to Seattle Children's Hospital and they did a test there and they hooked you up to like 1 million cords. It was crazy looking. We probably have a picture somewhere, but yeah, that test concluded that you didn't have any usable vision in that eye other than you could see like shadows or light and dark.
Well, you can feel them. You can't really see them.
Oh, you can feel them.
Yeah, because light is pressure.
You should tell them about the story of when you learned to take your shell in and out.
I recorded the whole thing.
Oh, how old you were?
Shush.
Third part of the eye, and then just hold it kind of gently. And then what you're gonna do is you have that heart there, because that shows us where the top is. So you're gonna take, now if this was my eyelid, you would take the little heart and it would go underneath that top eyelid. You can do it. Yep, create a good amount of space, a good pocket of space. Yep, perfect. And make that heart go up as high as you can go. And now start, while you're pushing up still, start pulling the lower lid down. Now go all the way up to your prosthesis where there's a little bend, so that, and pop that off. Go up closer to right where that little bump is and push right on the bump. There you go.
Whoa,
Hey,
I did
first
it.
time! High
Were you taking
five!
That was like less pain than you guys do it.
I think it helps when you do it yourself because you know how much pressure you're pushing and well done! I think
you.
you got it. Do you want to practice taking it out?
Sure.
Pull your eyelid out of the way and give a little gentle pressure so you know it's on there. It's on there, so that's good. So now go up with
this?
the, holding gentle the suction cup. Go up and then pull your lower lid down. So kind of tilt it out a little bit. There you go. Perfect. You did it.
Cool.
Okay, so now get your bit back in.
So when you were 2 is when we took you in and they made a prosthetic, which is like a shell that goes on top of your eye. And they hand painted it to match your eyeball.
I get a new one every 5 years. I get to pick a design or like shape or something. And my old one was a butterfly. I don't think I chose that because I was 2.
You did.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I like butterflies. eyes.
You like pointed to a picture.
And then this one is like a teal sparkly heart.
It does serve two purposes. One of them is cosmetic, so that your eye doesn't look blind or smaller. And the other one is to help, like it puts pressure so that your eye socket, like the bone around your eye, will grow at the same rate as the other side.
Oh yeah, and if I didn't have this shell, my dad said that my bones would grow a little differently and my face might look a little weird because it's smaller and like my bones would like grow differently or whatever.
We felt really lucky because a lot of people who have this disease have it in both eyes, and so they're born blind and have no vision. So we felt really lucky that you just had it in the one eye. I was always really nervous when your brother would play with sticks around you. I still am.
Yeah.
Don't touch her eyeballs. How has it affected you? Like, does anyone ever notice?
Yeah, people constantly come up to me and like, do you have a lazy eye? I'm like, what's that? Like, I don't even know what that is, but apparently it's when your eyes like look two different directions sometimes, but that's just because like if I took this one out, then they would like pretty much be looking the same, but since this is like putting like pressure on it or whatever, it's like harder to move. Well, now I'm going to show you some footage from the doctor. Last time I went, I filmed a bunch of stuff and I interviewed Dad and stuff. Dad, what was it like when I was a baby having like a
You cried a lot, you pooped a lot,
No, I mean
you wore a diaper,
with the eyeball.
you just couldn't see.
Yeah,
Because you're a jerk.
you're a jerk.
I'm gonna punch you.
You're a jerky.
Yeah, out there. Up there. How old are you here?
Every 5 years.
Yeah.
Isn't that until I'm like 25 or something? Or
No, for life, really.
For life? Oh,
Yeah,
that's kind
because your
of
tissue keeps changing.
Things to do around here.
Okay, so this is the eyeball, and they paint it really well to like match the color of my eye, and they put some fake veins. And whoa, careful, you're gonna make me drop my eye. If I get a new one today, what should I do?
A motorcycle. A gun.
No.
Get a pistol. A revolver.
I think like a sunshine, Dad, a gun, a motorcycle, me, a sunshine, a
Truck.
flower.
Here?
No.
Beef jerky?
They were just like a blob of poop.
Oh,
Going all the way back.
Oh yeah, look at that. We have a picture of your
My old eye.
that was the first time we saw you.
Look at that, Mo.
First time.
You're cute when you're doing
Oh, yeah, I was
look
sassy
at me.
then too. I was sassy then
Who's that
too.
guy?
Apparently I was sassy then too. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Snot nose.
My eyebrows look red.
Now it's more calm.
so bad.
Yeah, I would scream every time.
Just had something.
There's a
little,
grandma hands.
Look at that face.
That's crazy. Why is grandma laughing in the background?
Because you're funny.
Yeah. All I remember from then is that like they put this orange cream stuff and then it like dried and then they took it off. Aww, there's friends.
Some good pictures.
But I just learned how to do it. The lady said she'd never really taught a 13-year-old before, and she was used to teaching like 5-year-olds and like 8-year-olds. So I'm like, oh. So at school, you guys know because you're probably all kids. At school, they do yearly ear and eye like checks. I don't know why they don't just trust their doctors, but whatever. And whenever they do the eye one, they're like, okay, cover your right eye. I'm like, okay. And then I, do the test. I usually get 20/20. And then they're like, hey, cover your left eye. And then I go like this, and I say, rainbows, unicorns, my uncle, 32. I just say a bunch of random things, and they're like, I used to think that you guys saw just 2 of everything.
2 of everything?
Yeah. I'm like, why didn't they just see, like, that's so weird that they just see 2
Like,
of
I
everything.
only get to see 1, and everybody else gets to see 2. That's weird.
Yeah. No, that was literally last month. Adri told me that that people don't see 2 of everything.
That was
Yeah.
last month you thought we saw 2.
Well, I mean, I figured because I heard that like your brain makes you see 1, but it's still just so weird. Like if you go like this, you just like keep seeing it, but like I don't know, it's weird.
One time we couldn't find the squeegee for your eyeball, so we used a Nerf bullet. So a Nerf bullet works.
Sure.
And one time when you were 3, you were in the back seat and you're like, here, mommy. And I'm like, what is it? And I put my hand out and it was your eyeball.
I'm like, here's my eye. I'm like, I don't want it.
You just pulled it out and handed it.
Yeah, I just like pulled it out with my hands. Ooh, I can't imagine doing that. And do you want to go put on a shirt? Do you want to go put on a shirt?
Not particularly.
Okay, your face is gonna be on YouTube, and so are your entire arms. Oh, okay. It'll be blurred. Thanks.
Yep. Got a shirt on now.
This is Mason, my brother. I was gonna say bro, then I said brother.
Hit me up, ladies.
Yeah, you want 14-year-olds hitting you up?
That's true, not particularly.
Has any of your
The
friends
Christmas
ever
is well funny.
like seen my eye and asked you like in private,
Yeah.
like why is she looking
Yeah.
like really? What did you tell them? Oh, she's blind, or what did you say?
I was like, oh, it's kind of dope. She's got like this eye thing she can take out, just a thick contact lens. Actually, me
thick
and Layton
contact
talked about
lens?
it like the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he like, why is her eye looking two different ways?
No, he was, because I've told him before when you've had it out. I'd like to thank my mom for
Winning an
birthing me,
award.
for getting me this interview.
What is it weird touching my eye? Because you've touched my eye before.
It's like,
But-
that's a piece of glass.
A lot of my friends have touched my eye before. Andrew's here. Okay, come here. Hey, this is my cousin, and I'm gonna ask her a few questions. Do you remember, like, when I was younger, do you remember if you knew that I was blind, or do you know?
Sometimes I forget, but like I always knew you're blind.
I know, right before I film this video, I'm like, okay, what video do I need to film next? And I'm like,
Oh yeah, I'm blind.
what's it like touching my eye? Everyone always asks that, who hasn't touched my eye before. I love how you touch my dirty nose and then you touch my eye.
Like boop boop. When I was little, I thought you saw like all black because I thought that's how it worked. How does it work?
It's just nothing. Like,
what is nothing?
here, I'll explain kind of how I explain it to people. So, right now, pretend you have an eyeball on your palm. So you have an eyeball right here. Now, look around with your eyeball.
Okay.
There's nothing, right?
Oh yeah.
What are we
I
doing?
can still see.
Okay, no, but I'm talking about look through this eyeball. Like, don't think about your actual eyes. It's like you have an eyeball, but it just doesn't work. If I cover this eye, when I turn that on and off, because light is pressure, and so I can kind of feel it change. Like when you're the sun, you're like, you know?
Yeah.
Wait, anything else you want to say?
It doesn't affect who you are at all. It's just an eyeball. So
It's just an eyeball, y'all. This is what, I can't like open it. The eyeball looks like. Yeah. It's colorful and magical, and I tell people that the real story, I wasn't born with it. I just got stabbed by a unicorn, a majestical one, but it was an evil unicorn. And then it poked my eye out, but I still won the battle. So yeah, that's what I tell people. Sophia came up with that. That was it for today's video. If you want me to do any more eyeball videos, or if you have any questions, please leave them down below, because I will try to go through the comments and answer all your questions. This title was not clickbait. So yeah, I'm also curious, answer this poll. How many of you knew this? Like, I'm sure most of you did, but like, I wonder if anyone like didn't know that. Subscribe, like, do all the things. Check the description if you want to follow me on Instagram or on other things. Bye.